Yeah, all this and all season. This part 4, which is going to be the finale of the final like puzzle like this one, the final puzzle thing here. And I decided to play through the basement part because otherwise it would just be too many parts. Because I took it slowly, and yes, I did get all the injectors here, all the injectors that you could find. So there seems to be always enough to max out one of the stats, but not like both. Like there's not going to be enough steroids or the other thing. There's also one lockpick I left behind, but I don't remember if there were any other place that I could have like lockpicked at a specific location. Because I don't think I left any lockpicks behind here in the hospital part. So yeah. And we need to go, of course, to lead. Is it lead researcher's office? It's the lead research office. We need to go to that. Carrying goes to lead research office, but you need to do the hand thing. If the hand thing is what activates you being able to luckily re-input in the correct location. But you cannot do the input otherwise. I'm just checking here. So the data upload is done. Sometimes when you log in on the PlayStation, if it don't want to like have you logged in, like to even have you show up as being like online and stuff, that it has like the whole up here offline or something like that. So this of course where it's very obvious. Like you tap X because it shows up, right. But then there definitely seems to be some people, or there's one quote-unquote game journalist or whatever, right, that seems to play the game bad on purpose, and stuff like that. I don't know if it's technically on purpose, but, so we need to take a claw. We don't need to have her with us when we do this, however. I'm pretty certain that I killed everything with Leon, though. I don't think I even left anything alive. Now, of course, if I would have left something alive, we do have a bunch of bottles we could use, theoretically. So yeah. Let's first put her down. Because we need to analyze the claw. I don't think we need to pick up the... let's just pick up the bottles. Use the bottles with us here. And we need to, of course, use the... use the can we see we have also 6 extra antique coins, stuff that. So yeah. Here we have some transfusion bags, but it's Mary dolls we need to have with us. Not yet, though. You only need to pick that up when you actually carry her. So we need to use these at one of these laser microscopes. That's what they're actually called. I think that's the closest one, still the one in the blood lab over there. And I think we killed everything over here. So we won't have the... Oh, we did leave one alive. Yeah, so maybe we can still do this. Maybe we can still get a trophy here. Like throw it over there, boom. So he goes and investigates. Yay, we got it, and that's the platinum trophy. Wow, that was just what I needed to do. Not throw it on the actual enemy, but just throw it near enough to the enemy. Okay, that's the platinum trophy right there. That's a bit funny that I think it was that easy. Now we can just kill this guy now. And like killing this guy is worth it because this of course gives us the IV back here. The transfusion bag. Because of course if you want to get the bloodlust or whatever they call it right there, that trophy, you want to have a lot of blood. You basically want to have a lot of blood bags. So if that is another scrap we can take. Yeah. But so that's what I needed to do. So you don't throw the bottle on the actual enemy. That's what you have to make sure that you don't do. Don't throw the bottle on the actual enemy itself. And yeah, it definitely seems like she slaps with her damage. Once you have like all the stabilizers and stuff, that's right, But yeah, I definitely hope they add more of the whole, special content into the game and stuff there. So that's that challenge. Okay, that means that I can actually get the final thing here. Infinite ability hatches boom. And then basically we have points over for absolutely nothing once we get these. We have 28,000 extra points, so we cannot spend on anything. But I definitely hope that they add more into the special content here. That they should probably add more weapons to Grace, maybe more weapons to Leon eventually as well. And I definitely think that they would probably maybe add some more costumes and stuff like that, right? And maybe some other things as well. But yeah, I am pretty certain that you need to do this. I'm pretty certain that I didn't leave this many enemies alive. Maybe they use spawn more enemies now. Okay, there's a hunting knife. You can see this is what you can do with the knives. You can use to turn them into scrap. Which, if you're going for the bloodlust, by the way, I did upload the trophy on that and stuff like that, and I tried to explain in the comments kind of how it works. Because the more scraps you have, the better it is. And then basically you want to use craft handgun ammo because handgun ammo is very cheap to craft. It only costs 40, and it only costs one of those. And you want to craft those. And if you have a bunch of makeshift knives or any type of knife, basically the makeshift knife or the other knives, you just want to turn them all into scraps. But keep in mind, of course, that for example, if I would use this bag now, it would be a waste. Now you're not going to have the 200 one because that, of course, requires you to have gotten the other thing. But yeah, and this will be the hardest type of puzzle. The one for this is an exact copy of the other hardest one. Stuff that, and I believe you actually do these. What is it? And then this, yeah, because that's the easiest way to do that one actually. So let's play. Yeah, you need to get that let's play message there basically, and that indicates that you now have it. And then it's up there on that stair. So you need to go over to this and go up here and then do that. So yeah. Very nice. Indeed, and then we will see if it's correct that it's in like trees or whatever with how we need to do the inputs basically. But yeah. Remember, right, how with Xbox achievements, right? Not on the original Xbox, but on the 360, of course. With Xbox achievement, that in certain games, of course, when you got like 1,000, like a gamer score, which was basically the same as platinum. So that keep in mind, right, that they were like games that came out both on 360 and on PS3, and then they had to make sure that to be like okay, like these 1,000 gamer score need to be the same as like doing a certain other thing. So now we have scanned that, and now we bring the Marie doll with us. Bring the Marie doll with us. We bring Emily with us. Oh my god. Now save. Obviously. And now we just need to go to the lead researcher's office. Yeah. Lead researcher's office, and yeah, and I'm currently uploading. Yeah, so yeah, and usually when this happens, like the upload gets way slower than it should, and stuff there for whatever reason, right? And maybe it's just that there's a lot of pressure on Sony's service or whatever, right? That's what happens, you know. Because I don't think that this is the day when they would be updating the servers or whatever, right? Or like update the PlayStation Store or whatever. So it's in this place. Lead researcher's office. So this is where you need to do the inputs. Okay. Right, so it's going to be okay, so let's see here. So is there a way I can easily check here? I can maybe have it standing like this. Yes. So and this is sun, right? Yeah, this is sun, and the other thing is star. So sun. And this is in braille now. Okay, so sun. Sun. Star. Sun. Moon. star, sun, moon, sun, moon, star, and moon. Please check the settings. The final puzzle. You can see that shows up as looking like a gold trophy specifically and stuff like that, but there is no. Yeah, so boom, that's all the challenges and that's all the special content. Right, so, but then this doesn't give you like a hidden ending or anything. Except for it feels like this was planned to actually have something more happen with it. That, oh, now you unlock like a secret ending if you continue on this file or something like that. You know, that maybe something was meant to happen, and stuff like that, like, or that they were gonna do something extra with it, but then they decided not to, and stuff like that, because, yeah. But yeah, I definitely hope they add like the mercenaries mode on top of this, and stuff that, would be nice. Yeah, we've only recorded a very short while here, but yeah. So let me just check something here. Back here, I forgot how far you could go here. Because of course that's the elevator that you come off, and this is where Leon gets access to, yeah, his thing over there. And then Leon continues on over here. And this is where those names are. And that is, where Leon. It's interesting. And now we use escape. So of course to get it all, of course, you have to wait for the 15 minutes at the thing. But then of course you need to make sure that when you have, after you wait at the 50 minutes, the easiest way to do it is not to have done the speed running thing right the speed demon, because the speed demon actually lets you see your playtime, because there's no other way to actually see your playtime, what you're at, and stuff like that. So, ensure you could use that 50 minutes on like a cell phone or whatever, right? You could use to do that, and stuff like that.
Emily? Are you alright? Emily?
I don't know.
Helipad, chapel,
Well, let's just...
chronic care center.
We need to keep moving, okay? Emily?
Okay.
And of course, you never get to go this way, and stuff that. Although that is technically the church in the background, which you end up actually going to and stuff that, right? So yeah. Because of course, getting into a shop in a Resident Evil game is a bad idea. Like it's just, we're gonna get into a shop, okay, that's gonna work. I mean, there have been endings, of course, where you escape in a shop, like Resident Evil 1, like you went off in a shop, and stuff that. Imagine if that could have been Brad instead. I don't know about Brad, of course, who he had to die, and stuff that, but yeah, he's, But it's also very interesting that people have pointed out also that the guy did the leader for the FBI, I forgot what his name was now again, and stuff that he's pretty funny. We could just put in the doll here again if we want to now, and stuff that's, yeah. We could, for example, take the mix of time. We can even take the quartets actually and stuff that, and yeah. Well, actually, you cannot make the kotetsu into. You're not allowed to scrap the kotetsu. But the main problem is, of course, is that you can still lose the kotetsu because of certain other things. But yeah, but of course, you can have more transfusion bags at this point than this, and stuff that's not the maximum amount of transfusion bags that you can have.
Please.
And then here, let me show you here just for those wondering about the hourglass. You take off this part, Shabush, you take off this part, and this is just very obvious because you can see all the sand is just there. So you just figure out that, okay, we just have to empty the sand. And you can either do it like you can do it at an angle if you really, really want to. Because I think it's slightly faster if you do it at an angle. Maybe it's not slightly fast, but you can see then you can already see the code already. You don't have to wait here a long time. You can see like U equals 380,000. Yeah, U equals 380,000. So basically, like it's one of those code distribution things. Applications about medicine. Oh, I forgot actually. Let's check it out what all of these books are here. It's actually pretty interesting, right? This room is pretty interesting. They have numerous cleaving tools. And then you have the whole Costiambre Brilliant there, stuff that. And this is, of course, a reference to Dimitrescu, and stuff that. But are some cool things. Of course, this one you never get to do anything with. I don't think there was a clue that you got from this one. I don't think there was any specific angle or whatever that gave you a clue. The interesting thing is also that you can actually also interact with the. Where is it? Where are you? Where are you again? Not the chessboard. No, not the chessboard. Even though this is supposed to look pretty nice. And that's the same bottle that is over here at that place. Alright, there it is. The globe. I don't think there were anything you could do with the globe or anything, but it's nice, and stuff like that. And it has like a compass there at the bottom, and stuff that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. There are some cool details and everything, but what you're just meant to do is, of course, just do this, you just go in on the bottle here, and then you can see Miss N. Bottelou au Chateau Dimitrescu since 1457. And then you hear it makes a noise there, and then you just press the right there on the right thumbstick, and it's a double helix model.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I see. Solving mysteries, Batman. What? And then it's just like, oh, I'm so surprised. Oh, yeah, I'm scared of everything. Oh, no, a mice. Oh, a mice. Mice. Fucking mice, man. In the mice room. But yeah. And remember, right, that in RE5, of course, they were, like, if you take RE4, for example, RE4 had mercenaries. It wasn't the first one with mercenaries. Technically, it was 3, but 3's mercenaries mode was not even similar at all. I mean, so they had, like, different loadouts there, like the Nikolai, Mikhail, and, Carlos, they had, like, different loadouts and stuff like that, right? And yes, you could technically have combos going on and stuff like that, right, by killing enemies. And then you want to get it all the time, but then you have to save survivors, and if you weren't quick enough, you didn't save people, and stuff like that. So that is something, of course, that happened, and stuff like that, yeah. And I forgot if there were stuff to read in this room. I think there were one thing to read in this room normally. At least. Spencer's research too. It's locked from the other side. This is pretty nice, like they make it pretty sweet, like this, like small little lab area and stuff like that, right? And this elevator is pretty cool idea, and stuff like that. Because I would say like the lab sections in this is actually some of the better lab sections and stuff that right, stuff that right.
The hell?
And then of course these are the ones that you need to use to expose of the bodies and stuff that right. You can clear the area without using those things, of course, but it is easier if you do it with the things. But yeah, you can see that this was pretty well planned here. Something's being extracted. So that, and this thing is really cool, like right, and that's like where all the blood is gathered and stuff that right. Yeah, from 115 affected, administered to Marie, the infected ones. And this of course is a research facility. And the thing is the classic difficulty with the ink ribbons hard? Yes, but it also depends on how much you use the ink ribbons and stuff that like you could quote unquote be overusing them. But then if you are careful with certain things, you can make things like fairly easy, and stuff that because yes, you can abuse that blind zombie if you want to, but yeah, but then right, don't do the mistake that I did those first times and actually throw on the thing. And here you can see C equals 4.2 ly there. This is Grace Gascroft here, and they see that they're matching things, and they're actually comparing her to Marie or to Emily or whatever it is. I forgot exactly what it was there, but yeah. Helicopter key, a bit tarnished in places. And you want to watch this cutscene. This is a pretty good one, by the way. This pretty good cutscene here. Pretty good cutscene.
Yes, Zeno, that's correct. All tests have come back positive. I can confirm that she is indeed the one that we've been searching for. If all goes
But of course,
as planned,
aka the Wesker, which isn't like it can't be like a Wesker clone just because if it would be a Wesker clone, it would not have the raccoon seeder virus specifically and stuff like that, right? Because right, if it would have been like say like a Wesker children, and stuff that like all Wesker children, I believe were exactly similar in their DNA or very similar or whatever. But they made sure that the Wesker children would be kept away from each other or something like that. To not like because they were all meant to be like the top, like be like the smartest ones and stuff. That's right. They were designed to be perfect. And he technically actually sees Grace at that point, and stuff that. He know that Grace was in there. Oh no! Oh no! You! Like how did he self-destruct there, and stuff that, or was it Zeno that did it, and stuff that, right? Because he goes and laughs and then be like, because yes, it doesn't make a lot of sense that he would just be like, haha, I'm just gonna go. The funny thing is, you can actually. Here's something you can do, by the way. You can put in the helicopter key here, and the hourglass even, if you want to, and you can just leave them there, and you will still be able to escape in the helicopter and stuff. That's right, so you don't need it to take up an inventory space there. You can theoretically here just stun enemies and just get through that way. You don't need to actually dispose of anyone. Can't breathe. Oh no, it's Floyd Zombie. Wait, why? Alright. Please, thank you. Yeah, no problem. Who do I? Yeah, let's just use one. Stuff that's yeah. Yeah, it is pretty funny that one, even in orange, can sometimes be a full heal, and stuff like that. This of course normally where you would lose you're making them explode, you know. This is where you will lose them. Now it is entirely possible to kill everything here, and this is where the Maria doll will be, by the way. If you don't have the doll, that's where the doll will be. But you're required to wait those 15 minutes in the thing before you drain the water or drain the blood in the meat grinder thing, basically. So you save at the thing and then wait for 15 minutes, and then you can save after you have waited those 15 minutes. You could, like, theoretically just wait 60 minutes also, you know, and stuff like that, just to make double so that you're doing it correct, you know. And mousely greyhounds are escaping, you know. The mousely greyhounds are pretty smart, you know. And she actually runs faster here in third person. I'm 100% certain that she actually runs faster in third person, because she runs in a different way here. Like, she waves her arm around to generate like more force or whatever. When she runs, it looks actually pretty funny, but I'm pretty certain she actually runs faster than that, you know.
Why does this shit keep happening?
Yeah, she's really unlucky if you think about it, you know, and stuff that, you know. And here you don't like need to kill anything here if you don't want to, but we can do it like a green herb here, because I think that's the only thing that you can loot here. And of course you can see here we have no helicopter key here, and you can still run here and be like, haha, escape on the shop. And then it's with this, Leon! What are we gonna do, Leon? Leon! And of course you have infinite durability now on headsets, which is nice. Although this is more like a not military headset, you know, but it's one of those, you know, one of those, you know. And there's an explosion over there.
Found some files on Victor's computer.
Now it is possible to do this section with the.
No. Got it covered.
Got it covered. Yeah, and here you kind of want to go for a sniper though here and stuff that, but yeah, so let's just go with the marksman here. Let's go with the marksman. You technically don't need to put the thing on it, because the BSA emblem of course is when the scope is not equipped on that. But yeah, so just equip it with connoisseur's arm instead. Get that. Get the semi-auto You cannot have the silver scope one on this one, by the way. Keep that in mind. Yeah, we don't even have enough to fully upgrade it though. Yeah, that is just more important here. And then the final upgrade here will be 18,000. And then this one will be fully upgraded, the sniper thing here. Get the rifle ammo though. Much one can record. Okay, good. Just checking here. Yeah, I'm just checking the other uploads there. And there's a bunch of ammo here. They give you a lot of rifle ammo actually. It's actually worse in first person. No, I was actually crouching there, that's why. Yeah, you can actually kill these ahead of time here. Did he die from that? Yeah, he did. But then eventually there will be people coming from there, but I think the next one will be from over here again. I think there's two that will come from there, but they're also saying it's a bit on other difficulties. Because the thing that makes you realize why this sniper is very strong is, of course, if you played Mercenaries in 4, you know that the semi-automatic sniper rifle in RF4 is one of its best weapons. Stuff that especially right because the characters that you do kill records with, or like the characters that are technically the best, are Ada and what is it? It's Ada and Wesker, and both of them have the semi-auto sniper stuff that. And the trick from RE5 technically works, but it works less good in RE4. And the thing is just that this weapon can put out a lot of DPS. And yes, it can auto-aims and stuff that. So if you're somewhat near where an enemy is, it will use auto-aim for it. You don't even need to shoot that explosive. You can actually use that explosive with Leon later on. And here's the thing, like when this is fully upgraded, by the way, it's not only that its power will be pretty useful as all, but it will be like it will have like a very high fire rate. Yeah, so damage per shot is limited, as it say, but it's just that you can fire so quickly with this that this is actually a better boss killer than the Requiem itself. Just because of how fast you can fire. Sure, the RPG is still better, of course, obviously. The RPG is still better.
Next.
And I think those are the last. She used to run inside there. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. No, it is the time for that. Silly Leon. Right, it might be that there's just an enemy left alive there that I need to actually kill. No, there we go. Good. It just takes a while there. We get some money back and we can actually sell the rifle ammo, sell all the ammo here. And actually you sell the med injectors actually. Don't sell the regular hand grenade, make sure that it becomes the better hand grenade first before you sell it. Okay, so that's it fully upgraded, and you can see that's the only thing that added was just more ammunition there, so you can see, so yeah, that's fully upgraded. So this is the marksman 1.8 fully upgraded. You can see power-wise it's really lacking, especially when you compare to the first upgrade here of the classic. The classic 70 is still stronger almost, that it's still like a fault value and stuff that. So yeah, And then of course he crushes zombie head. Taboomers.
Excuse me.
Let daddy open, and you just use this boom. And then you just run over here, you grab some handgun ammo, boom. Right, you might say, oh, but this is just because of the auto aim and stuff, that's sure, but the thing is that you can kill stuff in like non-headshots and stuff that, right, that is fairly easy. I think there's something else you can pick up over here somewhere. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's something else here. No. But I mean, this is a pretty interesting set piece. Although I kind of wish that there could have been more stuff that you could have explored here. And stuff that, like the area surrounding it and stuff that, but yeah. Yeah. But I'm pretty certain that the two stuff that they're already working on, that they're pretty much kind of already done with those DLCs, won't be the only DLCs, right? Because I definitely hope that we will get actual proper you see here we can kill him actually fairly quickly if you use everything. You don't need to fire at those so-called weak points. He's dead. Oh no, we got hit. Oh no, that's so bad. I don't carry for good damage. Okay. So we can use the hatchet there if we want to, but there we go. I think that's everyone. But I'm pretty certain we can still do this here. And then we can get stacked hand grenades. Stacked hand grenades, yeah, stacked hand grenades. And then it will end. And now you're with the escape Grace ass forward. She's escaping. There's gotta be a way to the surface. And this is of course pretty cool, this area and stuff that sadly you don't get to be in this underground like super esque section for a long time. You don't like get to explore it or anything really. Stuff that and this is just for the boss fight. Oh, you get to destroy Marie, stuff that, the boss fight. And the thing is actually if you wait with Leon, he will only shoot once. He will automatically shoot against the thing that you can choose not to shoot at all against the thing, of course. And you get a med injector, you get a fob to read about the roof hacks, and you get some ammo. For the thing, you get actually 5 ammo for it here, for the thing. And it's just meant to use as the stun for the thing. So yeah, we can just get med injector for that. Good. Right, and then make sure that you keep that pistol on you though, because I think that will affect if you will get that pistol also. But yeah, so you want to be using the Requiem at this point, so you can quote unquote shoot it. But it gives you more than enough ammo there because you don't need to stun it more than 5 times unless you're doing something absolutely horrible there. Stuff that, but yeah. But that's a little bit actually and stuff that, right? I mean, we already did finish the challenge already. We already did what we needed to do and stuff that, but yeah. But you use this revolver here, and then you go downstairs and you activate all of the areas and stuff like that. But yeah, and one of them requires you to find an item, but it's just in the room like next door to where the thing is, and stuff like that. But yeah, and then you should only need to stun it like I don't think you even need to stun it 5 times. So yeah, there's a blood transfusion bag 100. Don't forget about that one because of course the more transfusion bags you have, for example. When you get to the lab part of the game, the more transfusion bags and the more scraps you have, the more ammo you can craft, and then the quicker you can use to reach it. For example, the fact that you will have only 150 as the maximum means, for example, like a 150 bag will be enough to get to the maximum. So make sure that you never go over what the maximum is on the blood collector. So that, and the reason why it can reach to 100 is of course because of having done that thing, But yeah. So yeah, and of course we have all the special content done, of course, obviously, and now sadly, of course, it seems like very odd that FBI, Attack Grace, and the RPD uniform will be the only extra ones. So I mean, so all the ones that are like the DLC stuff, it's like okay, like so you unlock the default and you unlock the jacket so that you can keep using the jacket if you want to. Same thing for Grace, for example, and then the FBI and the RPD is the only extra one. And the ones that are DLC is the Film Noir, Apocalypse, and the RE4. And for Grace, it's of course the Film Noir, Apocalypse, and Dimitrescu. And stuff that now, of course, there could be way more costumes now. I've heard that there are people that say that these costumes are worthless or like they aren't very good or whatever, right? Which I find to be really odd, and stuff that, like I really like the RE4 one because it's more than just this is just this is just the RE4 skin because it's more than that because it's like older and stuff that. And then of course the Film Noir one is actually very nice. Actually, I really love the Film Noir skin. It's the one that I used the first time I played through the game. I used the Film Noir skin. I think throughout the whole thing with the grades and stuff that because the Film Noir is used very interesting and stuff that because yeah. The Apocalypse one is interesting. I don't know if it's supposed to be a reference to the Apocalypse movie specifically, or if it's meant to be like, oh, this is a zombie apocalypse and stuff that, But it's kind of fitting. Like Leon's one is a bit boring because it's kind of like the whole, without the whole jacket design, it's kind of a lot of that in the design and stuff that's right, Except these are more like jeans and stuff that, right, and it's more like, it is almost just like a reskin of of this, and stuff that for the apocalypse, right? But it is still different enough looking and stuff that because yeah. And Grace's apocalypse is very very different because of the fact that she got the whole scarf thing going on there and stuff that. And Dimitrescu is just very very silly. Like both the film noir and the Dimitrescu gets pretty silly when she goes down and she absorbs the blood, especially with Dimitrescu, because of how much flowing the dress is and how big the hat is. And stuff that was actually pretty funny. And then of course the Requiem has the film noir and the apocalypse thing, and the film noir and the apocalypse thing. And I don't know why they made like the apocalypse be like the camouflage thing. And yeah, Kendo tactical arms for the alligator snapper. And then you have, of course, the film noir and apocalypse. And I've said that there should have been like a trophy for, and they could have edited extra trophies, by the way, used to not make it so that this trophy, like, I know that would be mad if there would be trophies that would require like you to have like DLC or like have DLC costumes, but then that is not all because there are games that have like DLC trophies in them where it's like clearly like in Dragon Ball Xenoverse there are like stuff that are like DLC that you need to get in order to get those trophies and stuff like that, right? So it's not something that people should be like, oh, I'm good, so bad and blah 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 or whatever, and stuff like that because yeah. Now you could say that the Requiem actually tells you who the person he's together with is. And I'm pretty certain that in the Japanese version, things are very, very different and stuff like that because, yeah, there are some interesting concept art actually in this. The interesting thing with that, though, because if you look at that scenario doesn't happen in the game because there's just one hooded figure that kills her. Of course, there aren't several hooded figures. So is that from the DLC? Then the so-called because one of the DLC is supposed to be with her. So that could be from the DLC actually. Never got to share everything and him talking to Sherry. I forgot if that scene was in the game or not. I think it is. Victor Gideon. And his coat is actually snake skin, if I'm 100% certain and stuff that. His ring is also very, very interesting actually. And yeah, the fact that Sino has the whole Raccoon City disease, is very, very interesting. There's the main street. I love like stuff like this. I love like the old concept art, but it's more than just concept art. It feels almost like the film, like the film, like the storyboard kind of things. Except of course it doesn't have what they are saying, and stuff like that. But you kind of get the idea. But a lot of these are really, really cool. Roads, and you can see here seeing from this specific view of seeing this is very, very like mansion-esque, and stuff like that, right? They have Lego, which is Marie actually. Inside a care center. Yeah, you can have see like. I mean, I feel like there's some Castle Dimitrescu kind of in it with like the whole the fact that yeah they have a lot of wine and stuff that. And you have the blister heads of course, aka the new style crimson heads. And there you have Lechonk, you know, and you have Blisterborn, which is basically like a blister that is even stronger. It is not a chunk that is like a blister or whatever, right? Because. And then you have Emily mutated 1 and Emily mutated 2. And you have the Raccoon City, uh, you know, and I know that someone said that we're going to go to the what do you call it, the actual mansion and stuff. That's right. Hopefully that person didn't like spoil the DLC that person already knows about the DLC. And there's the Pattern spin, of course. East Raccoon City. It is interesting though here because his jacket here, or the lack of the jacket, right, looks very, very different here. That's completely different. That's not even close to what his actual costume is in the game, if you think about it, right? You can see the zombies, of course, BSA camps. Highway, which you technically never really get to fight on. You're not on top of the highway. And it's very, very clear at one point that there are several enemies up on the highway, but you never actually get to go on the highway. I mean, except for the motorbike part, but I definitely think that because see here, like the highway is separate from the motorcycle battle, so you were meant to have a part where you go through the highway. So will that be part of the DLC, or will that be part of a mercenary stage, the highway? Because I could definitely see that working in a mercenary. Yes, it would be just a completely flat thing with just a highway basically and stuff that, right? And then maybe there will be like an hourglass in the middle of it, and an hourglass on the right end of the bridge, and a hourglass on the left end of the bridge that like works, that's giving you time, you know. There's motorcycle battle too. There's the Garmer, which is more like a wolf more than a dog or anything, you know. And then you have the RPD, of course. RPD and Orphanage. And I know that here you can see the snow thing there. That it was actually that they had that plan, you know, to be in like in the snow and stuff like that. You have the Tyrant T501. The Plant 43 battle, the Plant 43 battle, the Arc Service entrance. And they had a whole how it would work and stuff that here, how it would open. I wonder if that was supposed to be a puzzle at some point. Maybe. It is very, very clear that they had like a lot of work putting into like, oh, this is how things should work, and this is very clearly an umbrella corp box, containment units and stuff that you're using there and stuff that. So yeah, and bioweapon pod there, you know. And there's the central refining system Pandora. There's the facing Xeno there, you know, with the Dark Lobby. I definitely think the Ark will be like a mercenary stage, most definitely, you know, stuff that. Then there's the bottom floor, of course, where you do the boss fight. And there's the Requiem. And there you have, of course, the Alligator Snapper, then you have the Ghost Grudge, and you have the Redemption, which is, of course, the gun that Wesker uses. Stuff that. And you have the Matilda, you have the old school sniper, the classic sniper, but it's like it's fully upgraded form. Then you have the Scorpion Evo gun, which has the wolf insignia, of course. You have the shotgun, which is it is actually the shotgun I believe that she uses the Wong in separate ways, both in the original separate ways and in the like the remake separate ways and stuff that, yeah. Of course, you have the increments and stuff that, so yeah. But the wolf thing is interesting there because the wolf thing was actually on the increment itself there. So that was pretty nice. But yeah, I hope you all will enjoy this and stuff like that, and I will be uploading this maybe today as well. We will see once the previous uploads are done, of course, obviously. But yeah, I would definitely hope, of course, that they will do a mercenaries mode because it's not only that like all of these costumes here basically. I can definitely think that these two costumes will be the same here, like that there will just be a button in press, like, oh, press this button if you want him with the jacket, or press this button if you want to have like without the jacket. And same thing for Grace, that should just be like one character. And then the FBI would be a character, Film Noir would be a character, Apocalypse would be a character, Dimitrescu. Same thing for Leon, so the default and the jacket would be the same, like a loadout basic and stuff like that, and you could just choose how he looks. And then the RPD, the Film Noir, the Apocalypse, and the RE4 would all be their own, thing. Because the thing is, in RE5, I talked about this before, because in RE5, the characters had, of course, different in RE4 like thing, or in RE4, characters only really had one setup for the characters because they weren't technically multiple costumes. Now there was a way to use Leon's jacket in the Mercenaries mode in 4, but you had to hold certain buttons in when you select the Leon, I think, whatever, and then you could actually get different. You could get a jacket on him and stuff. That's right, but you couldn't get the mafia costume or the RPD costume in the mercenaries mode in 4. Now in 5, of course, is when they first actually technically made it so that the different costumes would be different things, because you had the Safari Chris, for example, you had the Club in Sheva that had different, completely different loadouts in comparison to the regular Chris and regular Sheva. And of course, the Stars Chris, which required you to shoot a certain amount of the medals to get the costume in single player and stuff that, or in co-op and stuff that, you had to shoot the BSA medals, whatever it was, and they were blue basically to remind you of the medals kind of from or for the medallions from RE4. And then of course, once you shot all of them, you got access to Sheva's tribal costume. And the tribal costume is the one with the tattoos, of course, obviously. And tribal, the tattoo and stuff that, right, had the infinite bow and stuff that, right, even in Mercenaries mode, the bow had infinite ammo. Same thing with Chris's heavy metal costume, which was actually not part of the default, because they actually made 2 versions of Mercenaries in 5. They had the Mercenaries first, and then I think it was it called Reunion? I forgot if it was called Rebirth or Reunion or something like that. The actual extra DLC that they made for 5, because they made a new Mercenaries mode that had more characters. You got Barry Burton, you got what was it? Barry Burton, you got Rebecca Chambers and stuff that. You got those, and then you got more of the costumes. You got the Fairy Tail Sheva. You got the Chris, the heavy metal Chris, that had the infinite minigun or Laxane gun or whatever you want to call it. And then you also got the other Chris, the other the one that was a Mad Max inspired, that also had the Hydra shotgun, which remember, right, that Stars Wesky was broken for a while because his Hydra shotgun was used to good, because one strat would be that you would use delete your handgun or whatever and then just go with the shotgun, and then the shotgun was so good. But the best way to get a long combo going on would just be to shoot with your gun a certain amount of time on the enemy to stun them, and then you just do melee moves over and over again, right? And if you played with another person in co-op, you could have the co-op records and stuff that, because there was some pretty cool co-op records that you could get and stuff that, so yeah. That was pretty cool. And in 5 also, if you remember, in 5 of course you got points, just from playing through the game normally, right, clearing chapters on different difficulties gave you a certain amount of points. Then playing versus the multiplayer, where you could actually kill other players. You could kill other players. That would get you a certain amount of points. But you could also, for example, just be good at Mercenaries, and if you could S rank or hide an S rank, because I believe it wasn't just S rank that was the highest. I think you could get double SS, maybe even triple SS as S rank or whatever it was you could get as the highest. And you could get quite a lot of points, but you needed to fully upgrade a gun before you could get infinite ammo for the gun. And you could only get infinite ammo in the New Game Plus. And even if you had fully upgraded the gun for the first time, the first handgun that you get, you need to fully upgrade that for the Raffica, the Beretta Raffica, to become available as one of the bonus guns that you can actually use. If you fully upgrade the standard shotgun, the first shotgun that you get, the Itachi or whatever they call it, in Horror 5, if you fully upgrade that becomes that allows you to unlock the Hydra shotgun, which is absolutely kick-ass. And then of course, if you fully upgrade the first SMG, the one that is the Scorpion, the small Scorpion, the tiny one that Eva kind of uses in Metal Gear Solid 3, the Snake Eater, That one, which is a Czechish or Czechoslovakian gun, I believe it is. That gun, when you fully upgrade that, you get access to Chris's infinite minigun. And then, of course, if you upgrade the first sniper to the maximum, you get the bow for Sheva. You get the infinite ammo bow for Sheva, which is actually really, really good. Because the bow, have infinite ammo and it kills a lot of things in one shot. Which, yes, sure, it's unrealistic and stuff there, but it's very fun. Her tribal costume is very, very fun and stuff that. Like, they had so much fun with a lot of the extra, like the special content here. But I definitely feel that they could add more. But the interesting thing is the Matilda IMP for Leon is the only one that can actually get actual upgrades to them. Like the Redemption, the Ghost Grudge, Claire the Carbine, the Moral Edge, the RPG, of course. None of them have actual like upgrades. You cannot get upgrades for them. And there's the Matsuka Master Manual. Which of course requires the thing to get the 5000 from the blood, but yeah. And you see here, like, yeah, trusted companion charm. Right, I'm curious what this is in Japanese, because you could say that the one that he's actually married to is actually Claire, instead of it being Ada or it being Sherry Birkin, which, like a lot of people voted for Sherry Birkin, which could kind of make sense, but then it depends on certain things, right? Because not only do we have trusted companion here with her and stuff like that, right? Like trusted companion, like, okay, like, and so you might say that, oh, but he trusts, her not only because of Resident Evil 2, right? But also because of the movies. If you have watched all the animated movies, right? Right. The first one was not Vendetta, right? The first one. I forgot what the first one was called, because I have the first one on Blu-ray and stuff like that, and then I have some of the ones I watched via Netflix. I think when I used to have Netflix and stuff like that, and then there are other ones that I watch on television. I'm pretty certain, but yeah, stuff like that. But this is the trust companion. But then when you look on the weapon, of course, when you look on the actual, when you went in here, I forgot the models are only the character models, right? It's not the weapons. All the weapons are not here. No, they don't have like the actual models for the weapons here. You have to go into the constant up to actually get the weapon models here. It is a bit odd, that you have to do that. Yeah, the weapon designs. Yeah, the Requiem. Because the Requiem, you might notice there that it has kind of like an angle wing or some sort of wing. That wing is specifically referencing the jacket that Chris has. And that jacket also has an important meaning for Claire, that jacket, for some reason. Because I'm pretty certain that there was Claire that gave it as a birthday present, I think specifically to Chris, or something like that. I think it's the lore behind the jacket, because the leg jacket has an importance. I do remember that. And the wing motif specifically that is on the jacket is the same wing motif that is supposed to be on this gun, and that's, and stuff that, right, And that kind of makes sense, and stuff that, and I know that, sure, like, people are like, oh, it's supposed to be Ada and stuff that, and stuff that, right? And like the dev said, like, that, oh, it's supposed to be very obvious if you played, like, the Resident Evils, right, and stuff that, but yeah. But maybe we'll find out in the DLC, But it's definitely also very odd that they made, the Mercenaries game. See, I have the Mercenaries game here, like I have all my 3DS games. They're here and stuff, that's right. And I have the my DS games as well. And stuff that. And the thing that was very, very interesting, by the way, the thing that was very interesting is is that the Mercenaries 3D game, the Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D game, was of course a mix between RE5's Mercenaries mode and RE4's Mercenaries mode. But I believe when the Mercenaries or the 3DS came out, the reunion stuff had not come out for Resident Evil 5 yet and stuff like that. But yeah, but in that, of course, you can play as Claire Redfield, which you cannot do in Resident Evil 5 and stuff like that. So that was something that was a bonus with that. And technically, Rebecca Chambers was in that also, but Rebecca Chambers, of course, you could also use in the other thing. But yeah, but it had both stages from RE5 and RE4 and stuff like that. But yeah, but definitely, like, I definitely think that they could make like a Mercenaries game, like a standalone Mercenaries game for in this type of engine, right, and have like stages from several of their different Resident Evil games. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I see you all next time.